up? What's poppin'? It's Snake Dog 916 coming at you live from Sacramento. Hey, y'all know what it is, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell, man, if y'all want to see this content. And if you got something you want to see, or somebody you want to see, or somebody you think that would be interested in doing an interview, man, hit me in the comments below, man, and let me know about it. Tap in. Or you can go to the Instagram at Nate.dog916 or Sandman2788. You'll see them scrolling across the screen right now because Sandman will put it in there when he edits it. But today, welcome back to Kennel. We got one for you, man. We got one for you. And without further ado, man, what they call you, where you from, brother?
So my name is Piab. It's kind of a tongue twister. Everybody just calls me P, and I'm from Denver.
Denver, Colorado. All right, well, first of all, man, thanks for getting up early and tapping in with your boy, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a while, and I've been searching high and low, trying to find an interview with a different race, and finally I got you, man, and I appreciate you coming in. So, first, before we get any farther than that, you got a YouTube channel, of your own. You know, go ahead and tell them what that's called.
Yeah, it's called Count Time.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, so y'all can check him out at Count Time. He got some videos over there. I've been checking him out a little bit. You know what I mean? I ain't seen them all, but I seen a couple, and it seemed interesting enough for me to tap in with him and go ahead and put something out here. So, first of all, man, if you don't mind me asking, what's your nationality?
So I'm Cambodian. Yeah, Asian, Cambodian. Yeah.
So the way we look at it from my side, y'all the Black Asians. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Cambodians are the Black Asians. So, so that's even a better look. But what was it like for a young Cambodian kid coming up in Denver, Colorado, my brother?
So out of all the Asians in Denver, Cambodians are like the scarcest, but you'll have a lot more Hmong and Vietnamese and stuff like that. But in Denver, it's just the demographic is predominantly Latino, then Black, and then of course, you know, whites and all that. But and I'm speaking on the landscape of prison, but yeah, everywhere out here is basically Latino and Black. So yeah.
Okay, so like you in your household, what was the P? You say they call you P, right?
Yeah, P like the letter. Yeah,
P. So what was it like in P's household? Like, did you have the full like family, parents, all the stuff household, or what was that about?
Okay, yeah. So I moved to Denver from Florida. I grew up in Florida, and I moved here whenever I was around 17 after I got out of juvenile. I grew up in a good home. I'm not gonna lie. My mother, she raised me as a single parent. You know, struggling and all that, but you know, she's retired and everything. But basically, we moved out here, so she was thinking she was gonna get me away from all of the nonsense and getting into trouble. But you know, that just kind of followed me. So yeah. But other than that, man, I come from a good home with traditional values and good upbringing. I just, you know, went down my own path, you know. So
okay, so you come from a good home. The house, what was going on at home was good. You know, that wasn't a deciding factor of what drove you out to hanging out in the neighborhood. So as a kid, I'm sure something made you go out there and start hanging out with the fellas. You know what I mean? And, or not, maybe not one certain incident, but what was it like to, you know, the transition from the house to the streets? I mean, what was it? What was you doing? Was you just out there grinding, selling dope, hanging out with the homies, shooting shit up? What was the homie life like?
Yeah, I got you. So whenever I moved to Denver, my neighbors were the boys that I first met, and they became like, you know, my solid partners and stuff, my crimies or whatever you want to call it. And you know, they was growing up in the Denver surrounding neighborhoods and stuff like that. They was involved in a lot of the culture where there's drugs and stuff like that. So whenever I was 17, I moved out of the house with my boy JB, and we just started doing all types of crazy stuff, beating up people, robbing stuff, and you know, and then he went to prison. So I met up with some other partners, and then we started doing stick ups in the Denver surrounding areas. And so that was kind of like, I guess you would say, led up to the fall of my demise later. But that's basically what I was, into. And I don't want to sit here and portray like I was, sticking up major characters. I was sticking up dudes for grocery bags. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
right,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
salute.
yeah.
I appreciate your honesty, man. A lot of times you get people come on and they're robbing Nino Brown off New Jack City. You know what I mean? But they still broke. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So, and I appreciate that. And so, okay, so you out there, you sticking up. You doing whatever you can do to eat. You know what I mean? I get that. You know what I mean? You're not trying to get rich. You're just trying to get by. So eventually, all this stuff led to you doing something that ended up getting you a case serious enough to send you to prison.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that case and what it was?
Yeah, absolutely. It was second degree murder. Yeah, second degree murder. You want me to go in just a little bit
Absolutely.
of
Whatever
how
you're
it
comfortable with. Whatever you're
Yeah,
comfortable
yeah.
with.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, so man, all right, so me and my partners, we were like, I guess you would say, a bunch of suburban kids that were in a certain part of the culture, and we was taking risks. That's what led me into all of my criminal ways, right? But this day that this happened to be a normal Friday. Um, all we was trying to do was get a sack of weed and call up some girls, you know what I mean? So we go down to this part of Denver that my homeboy's homeboy knew where to get the weed. And so long story short, I guess the weed man that was there and my homeboy's homeboy, they had like some type of like petty bad blood or something. So they start getting in fist fights. All of a sudden, a gun was pulled out, and my homeboy's homeboy like stripped the gun out of this guy's hand and shot it off real fast and then dumped it in the bushes. And so I was trying to tell him, let's just get the hell out of here. But as we're leaving the area, there's a truck come pulling up behind us. So I automatically think these individuals, whoever they are, they're going to see what's going to happen, and a whole lot more drama is going to unfold. You know what I mean?
Right.
So before that happened, I smashed into the back of their truck just to give us enough time to get out of there. And so 2 to 3 miles up the road, stupidly, we're young and dumb, we still want to get some liquor in us. So we go to the liquor store. They go into the liquor store, and I'm sitting in my like 80 something S10 pickup with the window rolled halfway down, and I see that same truck pull up, and it was kind of dark, so I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe it isn't these guys. So this guy comes walking he gets out of his door, and let's say I think they're about 10 yards away, so he starts walking up to my window, like looking in my window and stuff like that. And I had a 40 caliber Glock with hollow points in it, so I cocked it back and I sat into my lap, and I kind of just started slowly rolling the window down, just so he can get enough look at me to see if he can identify me.
Right.
And so whenever I did that, he looked, and his eyes went like that, like he knew it was me from the scene, and he reached behind his back like that. And I say that I didn't. Whenever I shot, I reached for my shit and I shot out the window, but I didn't have like time to actually train or aim my whatever. So I just really fast, like scared, just shot out the window, and I was really trying to shoot for his shoulder. But in my discovery, what happened was it missed by an inch, and like it hit his aorta, which is like the main valve to his heart. So he bled out eventually. And long story short, I ran down this alley, and this female cop comes jumping out of the bushes, and like she had like her top like unbuttoned, which is a funny story because there was a fire department like right next to the liquor store. And so, she was over there messing around. But anyways, that's long story short. That's how I caught my.
Oh, she happened to be coming out of the fire department and caught you on a fluke?
Yeah. So later in the court, she tried to say she was cleaning out her service vehicle, but it was actually the firemen came running out with like their shirts off and stuff, and that actually apprehended me, and that put the cuffs on me while she went up front to go check on the dude and see what's going on.
Right. Right.
Yes.
They was cleaning out her. They was cleaning out her service vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got arrested. You got apprehended by the fire department. Actually, she made the arrest, but the fire department subdued you.
You're right.
Oh. So now you headed to the county jail. This is Denver County.
Adams County.
Adams County Jail. Is this your first time as an adult in the county jail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, first time.
So they make a charge. They charge you with, would you say second degree murder?
Yeah. At first, that's what I pled out to, but
Okay.
my crimes was, first degree and all this other nonsense, but
Right.
that's what I pled out to was second degree.
Yeah, I'm sure they even involved evading, all kind of crap. They probably added on at the beginning. You'll have a count. You'll have a count list this long, and then by the time you get to the trial, it's like this. It's like, come on,
yeah,
man.
exactly.
Y'all wrote all that up to make sure y'all kept me in jail. Okay, that's cool. But so you're in the county, you fight your case, or you're going through your case, you're going through the motions of prelim and arraignment, everything else. What's it like in the county jail for you, man? What's that experience like? Thinking that you might be facing a murder case, or knowing you're facing a murder case.
Yeah. So then I was a fresh green bean. The only time I ever had done was a year in a level 8 in Florida. So I was familiar with the rigmarole of going through.
Wait, what's a level 8? Is that like Supermax?
Well, all right. See, I don't know how they do it now down in Florida, but this was under Jeb Bush whenever he was the governor of Florida, like back in the 90s. So I don't know if they still do levels, but 8, the highest you go to is a level 10. So 8 is right underneath that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, in Cali, level 4 is the highest you going. That's why I'm like, dang, level 8.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's super max.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get ready. So you knew how prison was, kind of, at least for Florida standards. So you end up taking a deal, right? You pled out.
Yeah.
So you plead out to second degree murder, and what did they sentence you to?
18 years.
18 flat, or how do they do it in Denver? Halftime or?
Yes. So right whenever I had failed, there was a bill that just passed about old law, new law, that violent offenders have to do 75% of their time, but it used to be 50%. So like 2 months before that went into effect is whenever I got sentenced. So I was luckily able to get that 50%.
Okay, you got grandfathered in and got lucky enough to get 50. Okay, understandable. So you take 50% of 18 years, so 9 years. You pull up to the state penitentiary with 9 years. Do they have reception there first? You go to reception first?
Yeah, it's called DRDC, Denver Reception and Diagnostic Center.
Okay, yeah. So what was that like? What was that like getting there and experience? I want to say the first time, but you did the Florida time, so it really wasn't the first time you hit prison.
Right.
So it probably wasn't too much of a shell shock, but was it different for you in Denver than it was in Florida?
Yeah, definitely. The adult system to me was way more different because as soon as you go to DRDC, the COs, they kind of haze you. They're like, welcome to prison. And then you go through all this rigmarole, you get your boots and your clothes, but you see a lot more real deal, like dudes just walking around and you're like, this can be an adventure.
Right. Okay, so I'm sure so they sent you to a mainline. Yeah. Or general population. I don't know what they call it out there. So basically a mainline where everybody else is at. Yes. Where'd they send you to?
All right, so they send me to. I got lucky at my first. I didn't start off at a level 4. I did late. I went later to a level 4, but I went to a privated prison, and CCA, which it was a medium custody on the eastern plains of Colorado. It was called Kit Carson. So yeah, that's where I started off at.
Okay. So is this like a lower level prison?
Kind of, yeah. So you have a level 3, then 4 is like that's where I was at, level 3, and then 4 is like your what you call closed facilities. I guess that's what equals to max and all that.
Yeah,
So
that's the same thing. Yeah, we got closed. Level 4 is a closed facility here too.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so, yeah, all walls, no gates. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Okay, so what was it like doing 9 years in prison, man? What if you could? I mean, I'm sure after doing, you did the whole 9 years.
Yeah, I did 10 years
Okay.
straight, and then yeah, I hit a halfway house after those 10
Okay,
years. Yeah.
so in 10 years of walking on the prison yards in Colorado, I'm sure there had to be something that left a last, something that you saw or participated in, some kind of, I guess we could say war story that you witnessed or participated in that left a lasting imprint, or something that stuck with you over these years. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, and this just happened. Like I seen a lot of. I mean, there's like minimal stabbings. It does happen. I have seen some stabbings in state, but everybody lived after the situations. Everybody likes to use lock and socks, but yeah, once you get to level 4s and stuff, they're killing chomos over in Sterling and all that. But one of the most brutalest things that I had seen was back in 2016 or 17. I was at Fremont, and I was down at the microwave heating up some fried rice, and I seen just a bunch of commotion. These guys were talking about they were yelling in the pod and talking about, yeah, let's go to the room and this and that. And it just happened to be, it was a Denver local gang member, I'll just say that, versus a national gang member.
Okay.
And so I guess later on I heard the whole situation happened to be over some black, which what we call heroin. You know what I mean?
Heroin. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So and there was a lot of that stuff flooded this facility. So anyways, it was over that. They actually go in the room, and the guy that was the Denver local gang member, he was a lot more heavier than the national gang member, right?
Right.
So he goes in there, and then behind him goes the Denver gang member, and he like slams the door behind him so hard that it still popped open a little bit, so I could see everything.
Right.
And so you just hear like the whole damn the unit just you know how you hear it sounds like lightning or thunder in the whole damn pod or whatever.
Right. Rumbling.
Yeah. So that happened. So I had my bowl. And usually I don't like to look in and see shit that's none of my business, right? But I'm trying to see where the COs are at to make sure that, if they're coming in, because, I'm going to try and, signal if they're coming in, right? And so, but I can see clearly everything that's happening. So the big guy gets the best of the littler guy, but he's not small at all. He's just smaller than him.
Right.
He gets knocked out, and he's on top of him, and he hits him with like 3 big ass blows. And the guy's knocked out cold, and the guy gets over on top of him, and it's like the way he was hitting him was like he was bringing his fist all the way up in the air, like standing up to the ceiling and coming down and hitting this guy in the head. And I thought that his head would like hit the concrete and bounce, but it didn't do that. It just hit so solid that he wasn't bleeding from the front like on his face, but then I started seeing blood trickle out the back of his head. That's how hard he was hitting him.
Right.
And then after that, this was the most gruesome part of it all. Was there's these metal lock boxes that we have in our room at that facility. And they get pretty heavy, especially whenever you put your canteen and all that stuff in there. It gets really heavy. Some people even work out with these metal lock boxes, right?
Okay.
He takes this metal lock box and he's standing up. And you know how some cells, they're so small, like if you reach your hand up, you can damn near touch the ceiling, right?
Right. Every cell I've been in, yeah.
Yeah. He takes this damn lock box all the way up to the ceiling and then just dumps it on his head. And
Ooh.
I was like, damn. And I even had to jerk back and look away. Like, yeah, that shit was pretty gruesome. So, he comes walking out of there. And, I was kind of like, I had to look away because I didn't want him to see that I was seeing, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, but then I kind of like glanced over a little bit and, yeah, he was just laid out cold. There was a big old puddle of blood. And it was like the lockbox was like kind of like still hanging like over his head a little bit.
Right.
And so it didn't take long at all for, the cops came in to do a round, peeked in there, and then they, how they get on their little walkie-talkies and called it in. Everybody locked. So he was locked down for about a week after that. I don't know if he died or not, but that facility had it's a medical facility attached to it, and this was a level 4-3 mix. And so we just never heard. Some people say that he died. Some people say that, he didn't. So, but that's just what I remember from that situation, though.
Wow, that had to be yeah, I can see how that would leave a lasting imprint. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, it happens, but I mean, that's crazy to have to watch. But so at some point in your time, you decided that that's not the life you wanted to live no more. That this wasn't this going in and out, stick up kid, all this crap, all this wasn't what you wanted to do anymore. Hopefully while in prison. And you decided when you get out you wanted to do something different. Was there a deciding factor while in prison, or you just decided when you paroled that you didn't want to do that stuff no more?
No, I had my wild years. Everybody has like their first 5 years or so where they're knuckleheads. But in my journey of incarceration, I was fortunate to have older gentlemen, pull me to the side, coach me a little bit, even lifers like, hey man, you can do a lot more with your life. You don't have to get stuck in all this stuff because we're never going home. And so, they just taught me a lot of good stuff. So that's what really changed. That was the pivotal point in my life, meeting these guys, which, helped change my life. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and
sir.
So
yes, sir. Always can learn from the older gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, that was basically it.
So
changed my mind.
You had people lacing you up in there like, look, bruh, you still got a chance. You still got life you can live. And that's good. Okay, so the pièce de résistance, as they call it, right? For all my fans, yeah, I be reading this stuff. So for the pièce de résistance, man, the thing that I always want to know from everyone in this mandatory, what have you done or what are you doing to promote better behavior or improve your life since being released from prison?
Okay. Yeah, so just to be an example, with myself, just like all of us, like I say, the appeal of our channels for the most part, especially the ones promoting positivity, is that you don't have to be a real motherfucker or whatever, excuse my language. You can be a real motherfucker and do family life and do all this stuff without having to go through all of this, nonsense and waste your life. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And so that's kind of pretty much what, I try and promote on my channel. And just the little unseen things, like you say, that that people don't know about. It's not all about the violence and the stabbing. Sometimes people just don't like being told what to do. And it's like you capture that little window of that and really explain to people, they're going to be like, damn, I don't want anybody telling me what to do 24/7 a day. So yeah, just that.
And I salute you for that, brother. And like one of the biggest examples I give to people is like, I was put on probation at 12 and a half years old in Sacramento County. I look at it like I was under some sort of supervision all the way until 2017. So from the time I was 12 and a half to the time 2017 hit, 86 to 2017, I was never off supervision or some kind of incarceration or something. So that just showing people that, man, you don't remain locked into your own mind because they got somewhere else for you to be locked in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
once again, man, like I said, if you want to send any shout outs, go ahead and send them right now, brother.
Shout outs. Shoot, I shout out my boy Moan. I don't know if he ever watches, but my homeboy PD, he watches this stuff sometimes,
Hello,
and
PD.
my homeboy JB. So yeah, I should
Right, all
shout out
right.
them. Yeah.
All right. So once again, your the name of your YouTube channel is Count
Yeah,
Time.
count time.
So
Yeah.
you guys go check him out at Count Time on YouTube. He's spread some things. I told you guys I was gonna get an other in here. The brother ran with the others on the while he was incarcerated. He ran with his people. Anything that happened, of course he was popping off with them. Like I said before, we're not into getting into deep into all the war stories. He gave y'all one and a crime. So enjoy. Once again, thanks again for coming on my channel, brother. And we will link up in the next little while to do one for yours. And to my viewers, man, the kiddo, y'all know what it is. Stay loyal. Live from Sacramento.